shit everywhere. Hey.
Hello, Robert. How are you doing?
Okay, buddy. Sorry, I'm trying to work on the angle here for you. I know you wanted like a post setup, but the house is kind of a mess. We're shooting this weekend, so. Does this work for you, buddy? It's a lot of backlight. Let me see if I can move.
Yeah, that should be fine. Is there anything that you can show? Because I'm gonna try to do this as a Facebook Live. Any kind of visuals, any clips, or?
Let me think. I've got plenty of clips I can send you. Well, I got my big camera rig. I could break that out. Would that be interesting?
What is it?
My camera rig.
Sure.
Okay, let's try that. I'll be able to set that up behind me.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
Yeah.
If you'd like, I could send you some clips as well. I mean, you could maybe grab them off my Vimeo channel. They should be all set to download. If you want to grab the trailer off of there, that's all set. Just get the link to you. 1 second here. All right. And there's a way to patch in other video sources during a call, like a movie clip. Or would you edit that in later?
How would you? I guess I'd have to edit it in later. It'd be great if I could figure out how to do it live.
Yeah, I don't know how to do that.
Basically, I'm going Zoom to Facebook Live.
Copy that.
Let's see.
You seeing this guy at all? I could put it behind me. There's the cinema camera. That helps.
Actually, if you could put it on the other side of the chair, you got more room there, or just
yeah.
Or just angle the camera a little differently.
Trying to avoid that sun right now. It's just a disaster right now. Trying to get everything packed into the trailer. Let's see. It's kind of hard. It's going into the bush quite a bit. Let's see, where else can I go? I can flip the.
Or actually,
flip me over this way. What's up?
I was just going to say where you had it, but pointing towards your other camera.
This might work here if we do a cleaner background. Let me see. That's better. You can at least see what it is. I think anyway. I mean, it's up to you. But,
yeah, you know, that's good.
Just trying to just get in the same frame with it. That's the hard part. So just angle it. Now it's out of the damn frame. I put it behind me is the thing to do. I don't know if you can tell what it is from here. Angle side better?
So is there like a little ledge right behind you, or is that flat behind you? Is there like a little deck behind you, right directly
It's
behind
flat
you?
behind me. I can put it. I could totally put it in the background. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Does that read pretty well? I mean, it's that kind of. It kind of works. I mean, you can see it.
Yeah, that's fine.
Cool. If you want those trailers, let me get those. You have to edit those in later, but have you seen any of the trailers or for this
No,
one?
and I think I just lost you live. I see you're still.
Oh, sorry. I'm going into my Vimeo. I'm going into the Vimeo
Okay.
so I can send you the trailer.
Okay.
Let's see. Here we go. Okay, I just sent you the email replying to our last.
Okay, great.
That has the trailer in it.
Good.
Sorry, what?
I just said good.
Hello? You're breaking up.
Can you hear me all
Hello?
right?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Now
Okay.
it was just a freeze.
Okay. Okay, so I'm going to go live on Facebook and just ask you a few questions about your current project and background. And
Excellent.
like we said, add in the clip later.
Sounds good. Okay, I'm ready.
Okay. Are you still there, Robert?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. So okay, Robert. So a HARK Valley welcome to Robert Conway, director of Hellhounds. Is that the correct title?
That's the correct title. Thanks for having me.
Sure. And tell me a little bit about Hellhounds.
Hellhounds is what I'm hoping to be the ultimate popcorn horror type action film. It's about a group of bikers that are secretly werewolves who are waging a shadow war against another biker gang, the Silver Bullets, who are, as the name might infer, werewolf hunters.
And where does the action take place?
Well, the action takes place after this big massacre that most of the hellhounds were wiped out. And our movie picks up right there, where one of the hellhounds had betrayed the gang to the Silver Bullets. So our hero, our anti-hero, atheist, not atheist, alias, atheist, basically goes to find this girl's hardcore outlaw justice if he can find her, and if he can take her on. She's pretty tough.
And is this a fictional town or an actual setting? What do you use?
And the story all took place. Well, we shot in New River, and I developed a fictitious town called, if town's kind of a big word for it, called the Scrapyard, where I took this idea of like this no man's land where criminals could go and for a certain, essentially pay rent to a criminal organization that would shelter them from law enforcement and bounty hunters and the like. So basically, they have to be infiltrated by, they're run by this very bloodthirsty gang of coyotes. So going there is taking your life into your own hands. And that's where Lucilla is, an alias. And this bounty hunter that he teams up with, Mia, they obviously have a run with the coyotes as well. And there's a lot of good action stuff there, a lot of cool shoot 'em up stuff. And we find out around that time that Alias is more than just a biker guy. He's actually a werewolf because he's got abilities that humans don't have.
All right. And what actual locations do you use, Robert? Where are you shooting?
We shoot all on location. Most of this was shot in New River, Arizona. Big shout out to the Dirty Dog Saloon though in Scottsdale. We used that for the interior of the biker bar where the story kind of kicks off a little bit. And we've used the Roadrunner Saloon in New River. Other than that, a lot of just different interesting places I was able to find. Friends of mine have this great ranch that's full of old train cars and really neat things like that we used. And anyway, yeah.
And where do you actually live?
Where do I live? I live in Tempe, Arizona.
Tempe, okay. So you've been able to make so many movies in such a short period of time. How do you raise money?
Well, it depends. I mean, most of it, at least a fair portion of it is pre-sale through a distributor, Uncorked Entertainment. I've done a lot of business with them. The rest of it is private equity. I have a group of investors that I have a high recidivism rate with. So my films are pretty commercial in the fact that there's a pretty big audience for the type of content that we produce. So we don't do too badly in that regard. For a small budget operation, our returns are pretty decent.
Yeah, and so on Hellhounds, where are you in the process? And are you shooting, editing, both? And then what's the timeline for finished product?
Yeah, we're still battling, the COVID problems. We had an actor got sick, so actually this weekend I'm going out to shoot 2 more days of pickups that I'm finally able to get. We wrapped principal in August, but we missed these 2 days and just getting everybody kind of back. So we're primarily in post-production, but we are also still, shooting. Like this weekend I've got, Saturday, Sunday, and then there'll be some additional pickups after that, particularly for the effects stuff. When you're doing a film like this on a pretty small budget, and even bigger budgets, you tend to shoot out all your action in principle, and then you do a lot of pickups for extreme close-ups of effects. This is a creature feature, so we don't want to spend a lot of hours on set trying to rig up all those gags, the extreme close-up stuff. We come back and get that later, insert shots, things like that. And we're not at that phase yet because still we're actually just trying to finish picture after the COVID situation happened. But we're delivery date for this is February of next year. As far as release date goes, I haven't discussed that with the distributor yet, but it's usually 2 to 6 months after that period.
And then where do you think people will eventually be able to find Hellhounds?
Well, they'll certainly be able to find it Amazon Prime, Hulu, Tubi. All the streaming platforms are really good to us. Sometimes Netflix, but not usually. Definitely, I can't say definitely anymore with DVD, but probably usually our DVDs go to Walmart as well if people still want to see it on physical. Of course, most of our, business today is digital.
I didn't even think to look. Are your previous movies, any of them on Amazon Prime?
Most of them are, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Well,
And usually included with Prime.
great. And you're kind of a long way from Los Angeles. How do you find actors or do you focus on experienced actors? Are you open to people with talent that you think you can work with that haven't done movies necessarily?
If you watch my films, you'll see the same faces quite a bit. We're kind of a little tightly knit community. I'm open to working with new people always, but I usually put them in a smaller role. If everything goes well, I'd consider putting them in a bigger role. We have a great talent pool here in Arizona, great talented actors, local actors who are wonderful. But I also do work with actors out of Los Angeles. It's not too bad. It's a relatively inexpensive plane ticket, and I've worked with actors as far afield as New York, the Midwest. But predominantly the cast is because that obviously saves on the budget. Always something we have to be mindful of.
Gotcha.
We don't have to pay for lodging and transpo. That obviously is a consideration that's made.
Yeah, and so Tempe is obviously an important place to you. Which film school did you go to in Tempe?
Well, I went to two different schools. I went to Collins College, which was a trade school. There's a bit of a controversy around that, actually. And then I also went to Scottsdale Community College. And basically, I think the best film school that I had was being a production assistant on a very low budget Hollywood feature that shot up in Prescott. I did that when I was about 20. That's 22 years ago now. So I would say that's the most valuable experience, and I would encourage. I've had young college kids working on Hellhounds and other features of mine. I think that's really where you get. Not taking anything away from formal education, but it's something to see it in practice and how it applies, and particularly seeing what small budget is, because for the most part, when you're starting out, those are the type of positions that are going to be available to you.
What was the feature that you worked on in Prescott?
It's called The Cactus Kid, and I don't know if it ever came out. It had what was his name? Billy Moses, Christina Elise, David Graff, who passed away unfortunately, Carmen Ajanziano, who passed away unfortunately. It was a good little family film. I don't know the back end of it. Obviously, I was just a production assistant. I don't know what the distribution deal was, if there was one in place, if there was a pre-sale. I don't have any knowledge on that. And at that age, I didn't even know what any of that was. I was just happy to be on set and getting people coffee, but just seeing the machine,
Gotcha. And so before your education, whether it was on set or in college, where did you go to high school? Are you from this area or did you come here?
I am from this area. I went to Marcos Deniza High School, which is about a 5-minute walk from where I grew up. I moved out here around the end of middle school. Originally, we're from upstate New York, but I've been here ever since. Well, obviously, I've spent years in New York City and in Los Angeles, off and on, and I still work out of Los Angeles. If I, get a job there, I was working there earlier this year, but predominantly I'm Arizona based.
Well, it's kind of interesting because most people in your field at your age, or even when you get out of college, it's like, okay, LA or New York, which one? So why did you decide to stick in Arizona and think you could make it?
Well, there's several reasons. One of the biggest factors is cost. Obviously, cost of living was very high in LA as opposed to Arizona. Another issue is cost of production is very high in LA or Arizona. I'm sorry, or New York. I can make $1,000 go a lot further here than I can in Los Angeles, and that always plays a big factor into it. I want to put everything that I can onto the screen as much as possible. Permit fees really aren't something that's just not part of the world out here in Arizona. Things like that, logistical things are just a lot easier. Sometimes you have to bring crew in, specialized crew from other states, but I still find that it is economically a sound idea to live outside of one of the major hubs if you're doing and producing your own content. If I wanted to go the studio route and wanted to be, second AD on a Warner Brothers or something, that's a whole different model. That's a path I didn't take. Then obviously Los Angeles would be you know, a necessity. But for me, an independent film producer who essentially creates my own content, I handle all the business end of it. You know, it just doesn't really behoove us to live in a really expensive zip code. And I think another issue that's really always, as a writer, because so many writers live in New York or live in Los Angeles, so many of the stories are centered in those towns, and they're great stories. But I like coming from a town that not too many people, I mean, compared to New York or LA, have a big knowledge about. I think the Southwest is beautiful. So I really feel like that's something kind of unique in my films. Not that I'm the only Arizona filmmaker or the only filmmaker who makes movies here, but I feel that it's something that I can bring that's different. You know, I was in Ireland a couple of years ago for my cousin's wedding, and showing them the Arizona landscape looks like Mars to them. And I get a kick out of that. I love that. I think we have a lot of interesting, just beautiful natural beauty. I want to put that in. A lot of my films have kind of dark subject matter, and the desert's a perfect natural yet hostile kind of complement to my content. It just, you know, it just works for me.
Yeah, that is interesting because not only are there not a whole lot of biker horror movies that I can think of, probably not a lot of desert horror movies. Do you have exteriors in the desert for Hellhounds?
Always, always, always. And we actually, you know, we're a pretty versatile state as far as that goes. I mean, I started the movie. It's fun when you can put a couple different, you know, stark contrast environments in a film. So we start out, our opening shot is up in the Payson Mogollon Rim area, which is the higher country. So it's all, you know, a beautiful pine forest. And then we follow our lead character down into the desert, into the valley. It's just beautiful to be able to kind of showcase you know, how big and how beautiful our state is. I remember Lucas always said that, George Lucas, try to put at least 3 starkly different environments in every film. I don't do that, but I do at least 2. I try to do 2 if I can.
All right. Okay, well, I'm sure I'll have more questions. I'll email you follow-up questions and give me updates. And
Sure.
yeah, I look forward to seeing the clip and figuring out if I can post that edited into the interview somehow.
I'm sure you could, or put it at the end. It should be set to download in HD, so,
Great.
or any other resolution you like, but usually HD is pretty good.
Okay, well, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing the finished product of Hellhounds. Best of luck with all, and
Thank you so
keep
much.
powering through it.
I really appreciate
Okay.
it. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Great talking to you, Robert.
Have a good day.
Bye now.
Thanks. You too. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.